Hey, today we're going to talk about chapter 2, or part of chapter 2 in the Sosa book. And we're only going to talk about a little bit of it at first. I just want to kind of get you oriented to the article. So to begin, if you haven't read the article yet, just turn off the video and go read it quickly. Don't worry if you don't understand everything in it. That's okay. Just go ahead and just do a quick blast through so that you've at least looked at all the words and have some idea where they're occurring. And then after you've done that, come back and watch this video. So now is a great point to pause because I'm going to pause. Okay, and now assuming that you've at least looked at all the words in the article, let's go on. So the first thing you want to identify when you come to an article like this is what exactly it's about. And I think it's not totally clear when you start reading philosophy how to identify that. And after a while, you'll get good at it. And after a while, you'll come to an article like this and you'll be able to tell immediately that Sosa tells you precisely what it's about. And where he does so is right here in this first paragraph. And so he has a little introduction, but where he identifies what he's doing is sort of right here in these last couple sentences. He says, such progress as can be made depends, in my opinion, on a careful study of the conditions within which a correctly believed proposition is a bit of knowledge. In what follows, I hope to enhance our knowledge of knowledge by contributing to such a study. So this such a study here is the sort of study he's talking about up here, a careful study of the conditions within which a correctly believed proposition is a bit of knowledge. And so that's what Sosa is going to be doing in this article. He's going to be telling us, or trying to help us understand, or help us get a little clearer picture of exactly what it takes for correctly believed propositions to be knowledge. Now, if you think about what a correctly believed proposition is, well, so first off, it's believed. And if you're correct to believe it, then it's also true. And these are two components of the story of belief that we saw everyone kind of wrestling with in the last module. So there was the justified true belief story that Gettier showed had problems with it, and Zagzebski showed the problems were very serious, and Dretske said they maybe weren't so bad. But this is sort of the story that people have been fighting with. And what Sosa's doing is proposing an alternative here. Something other than justification that we add to truth and belief to get knowledge. So that's what's going to happen in the paper. Now, let's see if we can identify what exactly it is that Sosa is going to add. And he does tell us the word he's going to use right away. And he does it right here where he says, an accepted truth is knowledge only if evident. So apparently what Sosa is going to say is that it's not justified true belief that's knowledge, but evident true belief that is knowledge. But of course, as he immediately notes, is that leaves open this question, what then is it for something to be evident? So you want to figure out just what exactly it means for something to be evident. And in the very next paragraph, he begins by saying that there are two general situations where it is evident to someone S that P. So where someone can say that it's evident to them that P. And the first one, he says, is the situation where it is self-evident. And if you take a little while to look for where the second one is, you'll notice that it doesn't occur right away. So he says there are two situations where it is evident to someone that P. First is a situation where it's self-evident. And then you might wonder, what is the second one? I don't see it in here. And the reason you don't see it in here is because it's actually a ways down here before we get to it. So we keep going down and 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 down. And we're all the way on to not the page after, but the page after the page after, in fact. when we say, he finally says, this, of course, is the second general situation where it is evident to someone S that P. And so this is it. And the second situation is this situation when it's evident but not self-evident. So there are two ways for something to be evident to you. It can be self-evident, okay, or it can be not self-evident. And those are the two options that Sosa considers. And I think we can agree with Sosa that they're exhaustive. There's no other options to be considered. The way this first section of the paper is structured, basically, is that whole chunk that we just scrolled through is all about what it takes for something to be self-evident. Now, Sosa doesn't spend a lot of time on self-evidence. He gives a few examples of things that are self-evident and ways that things can become self-evident. He doesn't try to give a definition or try to give an exhaustive list of all the ways things can be self-evident. After that, he talks about the ways things can be evident without being self-evident. And he spends a lot more time on that, and that's where the complexity is. And so we'll deal with that next time.